are too disappointed today. I mean, I hardly think that my little interview with Tom Maxwell could ever measure up to that quick. Oh, and remember how once it got Bertha to rolling, they couldn't get her to stop? I remember, you remember Maggie Schuster, because she took out your entire bed of begonias. Finally came to a stop right atop your poor pussy. Now the kids remember him as Flat Cap. Oh, Lordy. Well, anyway, I'm so glad you're all here. I wasn't sure how many of you would see that flyer I put up in the laundrette. Don't that beat all? Laundrette? Hell, that ramshackle pile of twigs barely qualifies as a lean-to, scarcely covering up the 6 antique rusted out speed swings when always seen around before the final spin cycle and had that nerve to call that a laundrette. Anyway, you saw the flyer and you're all here, and as you can see, I am getting ready for Christmas. Woo! Hi, Brian. Now I am not the competing type, but I'm making an all-out effort to win this here lot decorating contest because I'll be damned if those lesbians over the lot 44 are going to win it. And they had better come up with a better theme than last year's Y'all Have a Merry Christmas. Not y'all, you all have a Merry Christmas. The judges awarded that debacle. Turns out they hadn't even entered the goddamn contest at all. It just happened that Barbara Bruiser, she's the more manly of the two, she just happened to literally be kicking out her comic counterpart to the curb on Christmas Eve, just as the judges were passing by. And they gave that thing the top prize, and that just busted my girdle. So this year, I have decided on a real departure from the norm. I am doing my lot all up as Christmas around the world. Yes, I know a lot of you folks think we Southerners don't appreciate foreign cultures, but that is just not true. Though, it ain't like I make a fortune waiting to the counter over to the truck stop at Phillips 76, so I honestly could not afford to decorate my lot one little bit if it weren't for the dollar store. And I don't mind saying this. There is not a day goes by that I do not thank the good Lord for those little Chinese children slaving away in those sweatshops. And they are cute to boot, too. I know, I've been on It's a Small World 4 times. But it did take me a long time to get over being agitated by that clusterfuck of Asian shops over to the Mills 50 or the VD as they call it now. But not only am I over it now, I eat there quite a bit. And, well, I have moved on, and now I think of people from foreign cultures as just other folks who we share this world with. And they are no different than you or me. Well, except for their eyes. But I honestly got nothing against the Chinese after I worked them at Texas and Pearl Harbor. They were the Japanese. But you can understand the confusion. But before I got woke up, it was all them Vietnamese places that got to me. And I have moved on, but my holier roller neighbor, Betty Bradley, she still cannot pass through that area without saying, usually very loudly so everybody else on the Lynx bus can hear, she'll ask, what the hell did we do all that fighting for in the 60s over there for, so they could come invade us? Betty still carries on about all them viruses those people always seem to be cooking up, and she cannot walk her dog anywhere near that area for fear some crazed meat cleaver clutch and hot sink chef is gonna jump up from behind a dumpster and tempura her Pekingese. Though it is true you can go for belongs in any direction over there, can't find a meal that don't have noodles in it. Hell, there are more good restaurants in that little area than you can shake the chopstick at. Well, it'd be a hell of a lot easier for me to go work at one of those places than suffering on the link, stuck in traffic, trying to fight my way up the South Trail to the Phillips 76 truck stop every day. Hell, on a pretty day, I could walk from this dump to the BB, but can you imagine me asking, would you like lemongrass with that rice patty belt? article he is writing about me in the Orlando Sentinel. It is to do with the publication of my new book that I just wrote that just came out a couple weeks back, and it is called How Serving Up Biscuits and Gravy Helped Me to Overcome a Lifetime of Racism and Bigotry. By Deloris Scrud, that's me. With the introduction by my best pal, Cutie Pie Representative Maxwell Frost. And last night, my grandson come over, and he got my cell phone hooked up without any wires or cables or nothing. He got my cell phone hooked up to this loudspeaker you see here through something he called the Bluetooth Fairy or something like that. I don't really understand it, but the point is, you're going to be able to hear everything that happens. Oh, it's Miss Maxwell. All right. Hang on, everybody. This is it now. Just simmer down and wish me luck, all right? Well, howdy, hi, Deloris Scrud speaking over here. From my writer's retreat at number 22 and a half at the Waterbug Trailer Park. How the hell are you, Mr. Maxwell?
Well, I'm just fine, Deloris, and please, call me Scott. Is this a good time?
You know it is. Why, half the neighborhood... in interest of full disclosure, I should tell you that they's a listening in because I got you on the fairy phone.
I see.
Anyway, I'm all liquored up and ready to go, so fire away, Scott.
Okay, Deloris. Well, first off, let's start by addressing the elephant that's no longer in the room. You've lost a great deal of weight, haven't you?
Well, yes, I have, Scott. Over 100 pounds.
May I ask how you did it?
Well, Scott, I was figuring you might ask that question, so I had decided to dream up this whole fantastical story I was going to tell you about how I had been in a head-on collision, almost got killed and got confined to rehab care center for so long when the food was so bad I couldn't bear to eat it, so I lost like 35 pounds just laying there in that hospital bed. When I finally got sprung, I decided to keep up the momentum, make some lemonade out of the whole sour deal, but that's just too stupid to believe in. So I ain't gonna lie. I wish I could tell you it's on account of exercise, but the truth is, Scott, I am on the latest weight loss drug.
Ozempic?
Yes, Ozempic, or at least I think it's Ozempic, you never really know. It doesn't exactly come labeled when your supplier hands it to you from the next stall over in the restroom at the store. So I think I know what
thought
I'm thinking.
Savoy had a zero tolerance for drugs.
Well, Scott, that's a bit like saying the Waffle House has a zero tolerance for grease. And let's face it, it ain't like I am, it's not like I'm new to experiment with drugs, I used to live next door to the Parliament House,
Oh, I know, Deloris. How many years did you live at the Carolina Moon?
Oh, the Carolina Moon Cottages and Trailer Court. I moved in there long before they turned the Parliament House into the world's largest all-gay orgy. Back then, the kids used to run down to the end of the dock, jump right into that rock lake, and the only thing we had to worry about were the gators. In time, it became a drowning hazard for fear the kids would get tangled up in a web of invasive discarded condoms, which eventually suffocated that way. But back in the day, the Parliament House was the center of cultural activity here in Orlando. They held Tupperware rallies there and Rotary Club meetings. Hell, Edgewater High School had their prom there, but around about 1965, they went and opened up the I-4 and the tourists stopped driving up the trail and that little motel couldn't keep up. It went on the auction block to pay the back taxes. Talk about foreshadowing history. Well, anyway, the gays took over, and that's when all the trouble started. It They would throw these wild outdoor parties that went to all hours of the night. Nobody at the moon could get to be shut-eyed. There's just no end to the feud between the PH folks and us Moonies, and so Mike and Bill, who owned the PH at the time, they acquired the Carolina Moon. Figured anybody didn't want to live in a park owned by fags would just get the hell out. And anybody moving in to the known gay compound would likely not mind the noise from next door. So all the folks who could afford to move, they just pulled up stakes and moved on. Most of them went to that Yogi Bear, Jellystone Campground Resort, which used to be up the I-4 across from where SeaWorld is now, but most of us, hell, we couldn't afford to move. That, coupled with the low rent they were charging for people to move into the dilapidated trailers left behind by the refugees, resulted in a very eclectic residential mix in the Carolina Moon. Towards the end there, though, I started hanging out over to Miss Vicky's pool bar, and every now and again I'd click my heels up in the disco. Got to where I didn't even bother going up to Whiskey River for a cocktail, and I stopped going to the Trail's End for dancing altogether. There's just too much drama in those straight dives.
That's funny. Wasn't it gay men who invented the phrase drama queen?
Well, that may be, but for a straight woman, dancing and drinking at a gay bar is very liberating. Everybody at the gay bars gets along. At the straight bars, you always got two skanky broads ripping each other's hair out over some guy, or two guys punching each other's lights out over who saw which woman first. That never happens at a gay bar. At a gay bar, if two guys like the same man, they just organize a three-way and everyone's all All these years later, I still only go to gay bars. Savoy is my favorite New Orleans holdown. Although I do like my new habit of hopping in at barcodes to take in the new and improved eye candy bartender Sebastian. Oh, and I do miss the PH, and I have to admit it. Towards the end there, I really began to enjoy living at the Carolina Moon. So many fond memories.
Really? Can you share a memory or two with our readers?
Oh, sure. I remember how every Saturday night of the world, I would set up my folding chair out there in the front of my old rusted out Airstream and sit back just waiting for the evening's entertainment to begin. You see, anybody going to the Chicken Boys trailer would have to park in our shared drive and pass right by me in order to get to him. And I don't mean chicken like you might think. Not like wanting to have sex with underage boys or anything quite as normal as that. Oh no. We called him the Chicken Boy because he liked to have sex while dressed up in a chicken suit. More to the point, he liked having sex with furry things like a stuffed Easter bunny whose behind he'd rip open with a jackknife, or a Winnie the Pooh wearing a strap-on dildo. They said he'd pleasure himself to the point of orgasm over anything remotely furry. He worked for a long time over to LaBelle's Furs on all the managing the summer stores. You can imagine. That's back when I worked the lunch counter at McCrory's. We took the same bus. Many's the time that Chicken Boy was rushed to the emergency room with frostbite privates. After finding it impossible to pull himself from that LaBelle's Furs cold storage vault, he'd rub on anything, full-length jackets, mink coats, skulls, it made no never mind. Although he was very partial to fox furs made by Dicker and Dicker of Beverly Hills. He lost that job. Can't imagine why. Oh, so he started up what they call a website right there in that trailer of his, advertising for other folks like him to come have sex. They called themselves plushies. Oh yes, there's a whole group of them likes having sex with furry things, or better yet, with real live grown-up people dressed from head to toe in fur like they were animals themselves. Rabbits, kittens, teddy bears, puppies, you name it. wolves was real popular. So like I said, every Saturday night I would set out this chair, drink a little Jack and Coke, and just watch the characters that came past on their way to and from the Chicken Boys trailer. It was every good as bit as it was every good as bit as it's real as hell. It was every bit as good as that 3 o'clock parade over to Disney. It didn't cost you no $190 either. Oh, but I tell you, some of those plushies, or furries, as I hear they like to be called now, some of those furries left the Chicken Boys trailer in absolute rage. Seems he wasn't always 100% truthful in his online profile and was sort of luring other furries there under false pretense. Seems our little Chicken Boy was a subculture all his own amongst the plushies and would often find himself a feathered outcast in a world of fur freaks. Poor thing. My heart went out to him. I mean, can you imagine the humiliation of being labeled a misfit by a group of bunny fuckers in tactics?
Sturdy to the animals, fuck you, Mr. Bunny, Mr. Bear. If they don't love it, they can shove it. Frankly, I don't care.
So, Dolores, do you recall any of your other neighbors?
Oh, sure. Well, it was a real mix of low-income Southern crackers, queer boys, drag queens, home taxidermists, hustlers, and drug dealers. I became very, very close personal friends with a darling hooker by the name of Taffy Pinkerton. But I also became very friendly with some very influential community leaders who lived in the neighborhood in the general area. Across the way was the very exclusive neighborhood of Rock Lake. Well, that is until Orlando City Commissioner Daisy Lynham, may she rest in peace, she was a black woman, you know. She moved into a lovely lakefront home directly across from the Carolina Moon, but of course, that just caused a whole bunch of narrow-minded white crackers to just move the fuck right out. Then when Rob Wago moved in next to Daisy, lots of folks couldn't take the double whammy of living in a neighborhood with a rapidly aging, rainbow flag flying homosexual and a black family on the same time. So they moved out like the jerks they was. Eventually that place just became a haven for affluent gay men who fixed up their properties all nice to where nobody could afford to live there. Also became friends with Commissioner Mabel Butler, also black, and also may she rest in peace. Now she lived nearby in one of the all-black neighborhoods, which seemed to make perfect sense to me, but old Daisy, she was just a bit too... Well, uppity is probably what I said. But I hate to have you admit that, I really do. I know all about how the history of that horrible word and how we whiteys would label any black person we thought was acting above their station as being uppity, and that is just not right. Of course, a lot of people don't want to hear about how truly horrible it was back then, and now we have a governor who seems hell-bent and determined to get the whole state to erase black history altogether. But back when I was raised up, my mama, she told me that any town honky could accuse a black man of being uppity, and the police would come and just haul his black ass off to jail, no questions asked. Just like all those icy men wearing the masks are doing right now. What those thugs are doing all over America right now really takes me back to where I'm from.
Well, where exactly are you from, Dolores?
Well, Scott, I don't rightfully know. You see, my daddy was an itinerant drunker, so we was always on the move. So where I'm from is about as indeterminate and fluctuating as this here accent of mine.
So tell us a little about your parents, Dolores.
Oh, sure. My mama, she was a flag-waving, card-carrying member of the Daughters of the Confederacy. And she sat on the board of a group called Southern Baptists Against Catholics. See, my mama, I love it when my own writing tickles me.
Stop it.
My mama was a real joiner. And she was very involved in the against movement, and she would just join up with any organization that was against anything. Couldn't help herself. She was just drawn to these groups like, well, like a Savoy ID checker is drawn to cocaine.
Well, what sort of groups did she join?
Oh, well, she was a very proud member of GLAD. That's the Gideon Society Leaders Against the Dictionary. See, they sponsor lots of book burnings once their cross burnings on people's front yards faded out of fashion. And, well, the Gladdies, they thought there were just too many words in the dictionary.
You mean too many offensive words?
Offensive? No, just too many goddamn words. See, the Gladdy reckoned they could really cut down on the number of book burnings they would have to organize if they just burned up all the dictionaries first. That way, people wouldn't be able to look up the words they needed to write all that demonic crap like all those Harry Potter books are really anything by Maya Angelou. Can you believe that horse shit?
Not really.
She was also a very proud member of MAD.
Oh, I'm a big supporter of Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
No! Mothers Against Doris Day.
What could anyone possibly have against Doris Day?
Oh, those Confederate bitches turned on America's sweetheart like Donald Trump turned on James Comey just as soon as it became clear old Doris was going to stay friendly with Rock even after he got the AIDS.
Wow. Okay. Well, what about your father?
Oh, my daddy was a piece of work. He's a Freemason and a member of the John Birch Society, which is basically a group of people dedicated to hating black people, and I mean Daddy hated them. But for a while there, during an unusually lengthy stint in one place, Spartanburg, I think it was, Daddy got himself hired as a bartender, which was a lot like letting Jeffrey Epstein be a Girl Scout leader. And the longer his shift, the more he would sample, but Daddy was a happy drunk. He'd loosen up, he'd get to visiting with the black guys across the bar, and he became very friendly, quite a number of them. He became fishing buddies with a man by the name of Jerry Cooper. He liked Coop, really liked him, that's what he called him, Coop. Now, I was just knee-high grasshopper at the time, but one day I asked him, I said, Daddy, how is it you're so friendly with old Coop when you seems to hate everyone else looks like him? And Daddy said, and I will never forget this, he said, well, honey, Jerry is different. He ain't nothing like the rest of them. Which, oddly enough, is exactly what he said about the half dozen or so other men he became friendly with over the bar. But still, he managed to hold on to a heaping helping of hatred for all the ones he didn't know. He liked the ones he knew because he had taught them. It was really that simple. And forgive me, Daddy, but you're hating other black people just upon sight? Just plain ignorant.
So you might say you had an epiphany.
No, you might say that, Mr. Fancy Newspaper Right Man. All I'm telling you, Scott, is there's a lot I had to get over what with the way I was raised up, but what the good Lord didn't see fit to give me in the book learning department, He made up for by installing me with the best bullshit detector this side of the Mason-Dixon line. And I'm here to tell you, that sorry-ass President Trump is the most bigly bullshitter on the face of this here planet Earth.
Be that as it may, I still think it's remarkable that you've overcome so much. Tell me, Deloris, how do biscuits and gravy get the credit for the progress you've made in overcoming racism and bigotry?
Well, you mean other than me fixing them up when I had my epiphany? Well, if you read my book, Scott, then you know that back in the 60s, I worked most weekday mornings slinging hash over to Chastain's Diner, which used to be a skip up the trail from the Carolina. And what a potluck of mismatched folks that place was. Of course, we had great griddle cakes and we cut the ham steaks nice and thick, but most people come in for them biscuits and gravy. There was none better to be had nowhere else in town, and I took to calling them the great equalizer.
And why was that?
Well, you see, outside of Chastain's, the pangs of racism and income equality was in full force, but inside that diner, I would be serving up my biscuits and gravy to Mayor Carl Langford, sitting at a table across from some wino who wandered over from the old Lamar Hotel flop house. There'd be a suited up lily-white member of some law firm seated at a counter stool in between some Mexican day laborer and a black barbershop owner. A garbage man would get up to leave, and the editor of the Sentinel Star would come in and take his place. The Mexican would get up, and old Walter Windsor from over to Channel 9 would come in and sit down. I tell you, everybody who is anybody and everybody who is nobody come into Chastain for their biscuits and gravy, and whilst they were eating them, they forgot how different they was from each other. And for a time, a short breakfast time, nobody bothered nobody else. Nobody cared how thick the wallet was or wasn't of the person sitting next to him. And everybody seemed to overlook the color of the person's skin, but was enjoying the biscuits and gravy just like they were. And that's, yes. That's where I began to realize just how much alike we all is. And much like my daddy up to that bar up in Spartanburg, lots of those folks who might otherwise never have spoke to the others, well, they come to know each other over the shared experience of biscuits and gravy. And that's how I come by the title of my book. Now, I have been doing some public book readings, mostly for the kiddies, trying to share my woke-up story with the youngsters. But I had to stop that because, well, the Boys and Girls Club of Central Florida kept getting accused of hosting drag queen story hour. That is not funny. I am a real woman. Those people have to go through to change what. But the one thing I know for damn well sure is there ain't a man on God's green earth gonna lop off his penis just so he can join a woman's soccer.
God damn right.
Now, I suppose I could get more educated on the subject if I had a mind to, but till I do, doesn't seem like there's any good reason for me to sit up here carrying on about something I know absolutely nothing about. I mean, the only thing I know for sure about trans people is that nothing they're doing affects me in any way, shape, manner, or form. So, okay, Sarah, that's what I
say. Very well put, Deloris.
You know, I had quite a few trans friends back at the Carolina Moon, and the one thing I did learn was they was all miserable before making the change, but once they did, they all said the same thing, that they felt hope for the first time in their lives. And now, even worse, back then when the subject was hardly even ever spoke of, now, more than ever, these poor misunderstood people find themselves under constant attack. And I ain't even talking about the hateful Republicans in government, no style. What really breaks my heart is when my queer friends don't want to be associated with the trans kids. They don't seem to see the need to stand up for them because of what they've worried about, I guess, something called guilt by association. I don't know. To me, it comes off a bit like, well, I can walk around Lake Eola holding hands with my same-sex lover, don't have to worry about nothing happening. I got mine. Why should I be worried about what you don't have? I mean, really, for a community with so many factions in it, twinks, bears, lipstick lesbians, dykes, chubby chasers, queens, leather daddies, puppies, all of these various splinter groups are all gladly accepted into that great big beautiful queer rainbow. And still some, the boys mostly, can't seem to find it in their heart to make room for that letter T. And that just really hurts my heart.
And that point certainly comes through in your book. Deloris, I wonder, how do you feel about Caitlyn Jenner's support of President Trump?
Caitlyn Jenner. Only thing I can say about that poor misguided woman is she started out life as a man, so she didn't have good sense to begin with. And let's face it, no matter what issue we're looking at, there's always going to be some fool coming down on the wrong side of it. Hell, we don't got to look any further than our own backyard to come up with that asshole Randy Ross. Talk about misguided. And par for the course, he couldn't even get himself elected supervisor of sewers, so of course, the Orange County Republicans made him their leader.
Yeah.
I mean, that misguided fella is so ignorant. He is so self-serving, so clueless, so detached from reality. I am amazed he has not been tapped for a position in the Trump cabinet when he clearly
Well, that's certainly an interesting observation, Deloris. Tell me, how much are you hoping to raise for the trans community from the sale of your book on Amazon?
What? You mean how much was I hoping to raise? I'm afraid the book is not selling very well.
How many copies have sold?
Just two.
And do you know from what area of the country those sales originated?
Yes. Orlando. All right, I bought them myself.
I'm sorry to hear that, Deloris, but I'm afraid the impetus for the whole interview was to raise awareness of your fundraising efforts on behalf of the trans community. So I'm not sure my editor will still want.
Oh, no, Scott, no, I'm still raising funds. I just had to move on to Plan B.
Oh, and what, may I ask, is Plan B?
Oh, I am returning to my Carolina Moon crafting roots, and I'm working up my inventory to take part in that holiday crafting pump-up sale they get ready to have over to the center. I am working on 3 of my all-time best-selling Christmas decoration objects, and I know they're going to fly off the shelf with 100% of the profits going to the Transgender Peer Network, which leads over to the center.
Oh, what craft items are you working on?
Oh, well, first off, trying to make a bad habit and turn it into something positive, I am making festive green and red holiday wreaths. I call them smoke rings. Aren't they adorable? Well, I'm sure that one, and one of you lucky suckers is going home with one tonight. what that means?
No.
Well, for you non-Catholics who gather here, creche means manger. I learned this from my mama, because she had to study up on Catholicism so she would know what she was against. But my creche, as you will see, is made entirely out of seashells and pipe cleaner. I'm going to pass this around, let it go zigzag all the way to the back. Don't nobody steal it now because this is a prize. Karen will collect it up at the back of the house. There's my manger, my creche. Oh, but my piece of resistance. My piece of resistance is... We might have another aneurysm in row 1. My piece of resistance is my popcorn balls.
What makes your popcorn balls so special?
Well, they're not just any popcorn balls, Scott. They're more like king balls, you know, like they do with those cakes over to New Orleans. Now, I have never been real partial to the idea of some kid digging his teeth into a newborn baby Jesus what's been baked into a cake. So I have decided on a variation on the theme. I read that in House Beautiful magazine. I got to thinking about how the kids, they just don't stop to think anymore about, you know, the true meaning of the birth of Christ and how Christmas has become just all about taking and getting and accumulating. So, I thought, still the kids will buy more popcorn balls if they think they can win a prize if they buy and buy into the right ball. But still, the idea of some kid choking to death on the head of the newborn Christ child is still not a good idea. So my variation is, in place of a little plastic baby Jesus, into the middle of one out of every 15 of my popcorn balls, I am putting in a miniature crown of thorns. Would that be perfect? Ow! Not only will the winning child get a prize, but also severe lacerations of the tongue and reminding you of just how much Christ suffered on the cross. I called them passion balls.
Passion balls?
Yes, passion balls. I was going to call them the balls of Christ, but that didn't sound good.
Well, Deloris, if you don't mind my saying so, Jesus was crucified at Easter time, not at Christmas.
Crucified at Easter. Well, I know that's silly, but he had to get born before he could get killed. It's all very Da Vinci Code. So, popcorn balls it is, and won't the winners be surprised?
Oh, I'm sure they will be. Well, since it looks like you have a workable plan for your fundraising, I guess we can move along to the remainder of the interview.
Oh, go ahead. Fire away, Scott. I'll spill the beans about anybody.
Well, in that case, I feel compelled to ask you how you felt when the last owners of the Parliament House evicted everyone from the Carolina Moon to accommodate an expansion project.
Now you hold on there just one little minute, Scott. You will not trick me into talking smack about Don and Susan. No, no.
But it would certainly be understandable if you were angry at them over your eviction.
Well, what I think about them Canadians and what I'm willing to say about them is two different things.
So why won't you say anything against them?
Because, Scott, in case you don't know this, they are Jews. I don't want to end up like Columbia University now, no sirree. So old Don and Susan, they may have evicted me, but as far as this trailer rat refugee is concerned, Don Betsy and Susan Unger are the chosen people. But you know what I don't understand, Scott, is they worked so hard trying to get back into this country when everybody else I know is trying to figure out how to leave it. But I do think they were anxious to get back here for the opening of that new Parliament House downtown they've been working on for so long, and I think it would be wonderful if they are able to capture a little bit of the history and nostalgia of the old PH, and I wish them every possible success. I honestly do. Oh, that reminds me, I have got to go shopping for a new outfit to wear to that opening. Anybody know where I can get a good deal on some combat gear?
Miss any element of the show.
Don't hang around and let your problems surround you. There are movie shows downtown. Maybe you know some little places to go to where they never close. Downtown, just listen to the rhythm of the
Speaking of downtown, Dolores, how do you feel about the state ordering the removal of all the rainbow crosswalks?
Well, frankly, Scott, I've never really seen the need for crosswalks. I mean, you stand on the curb on one side of the street, and your goal is to get to the other side. Much like that chicken we've all heard of. Can people really not manage to navigate their way through a crosswalk with their stripes painted down in front of them? Let me ask you this, Scott. No, I'm going to ask my neighbors, and you just listen into the answer. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side. No. He didn't make a move because there were no stripes painted down on the road. Too fucking confusing for the dumb pup. So I have never seen the need for crosswalks. But what I have learned, and from reading your column, thank you very much, Scott, is that according to the state of Florida's own research, every place there was a crosswalk painted up like a rainbow, the amount of people running red lights and the amount of people getting hit by cars went down.
Yeah.
So there's just no logical excuse for what they have done except hatred. Plain and simple, pure hatred. And anyone who can't or won't see that is just lying. When I think about the grieving family and friends
Oh.
of the 49 angels that crosswalk in front of the post was meant to honor,
Yeah.
well, I could just cry. That's how we started. How could anyone be so cruel? But I suppose it had to be erased.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, I hate that it had to come with so much pain and heartache for so many people, but it all had to be torn apart or torn down or erased in order for people to finally wake up and smell the authoritarian stank of it.
Yes.
I come to think of the Trump and DeSantis administration as being like two of nature's wildfires. They seem horrible when they're raging. But when they're finally done, when they've burnt everything to ash and it's all gone, out of that black, fertile soil sprouts new life. And in time, the forest grows back. It grows back bigger and healthier and
Damn
more
right.
lush and bearing more fruit and nuts than ever before.
That's right.
And much like the good Lord delivered Noah from that flood onto a brand new world,
Amen.
we have got to believe that there is going to be a brighter, more inclusive rainbow on the other side of this snag of wildfire.
Horse. Priest.
Mine.
Just like the workforce rebuilding itself.
Thank God I live in a trailer park that has a stage manager in it. And just like that fourth floor rebuilding itself, our democracy will be reclaimed.
Yes.
I know that's what they calls being idealistic, but I have to believe in God. I just have to. It's the only thing that keeps me going. Well, that and a little Jack Daniels.
That's certainly an interesting analogy, Dolores. You know, I know for me, it's my faith in God that helps me through these trying times. Is that true for you?
Well, Scott, I've had what you might call a on-again, off-again relationship with Jesus. I mean, he's all right in my book for the most part, but it's all the crap his followers bring to the church that I have a hard time with. I mean, I cannot wrap my head around how every hateful, hurtful thing they does to people, they does in the name of Jesus. So, there's a lot I may not believe in, Scott, anymore, but the one thing I do still believe in is the magic of Christmas. You know, it's funny. Back when I was being raised up, we wasn't allowed to even utter the word magic for fear it would conjure up the devil himself. Not so long ago, I remember when the Southern Baptist Convention declared that no child should be allowed to go to Disney till they removed the word magic from the name of their theme park. Like that was ever going to happen. Of course, long before that, they called for an all-out ban, boycott of all things Disney, very early on, long before gay marriage was even thought of, and that was because Disney had the audacity to offer health insurance benefits to the domestic partners of cast members who were in same-sex relationships. And let me tell you, it was a scandal. They held a big press conference to address the boycott. Oh, I remember I watched on TV as that Disney spokesperson walked up to this bank of microphones, set his folder down on the podium, opened it up like as if he was going to make some long-ass speech, and then he said but one sentence. He said, "We at the Walt Disney Company find it curious that Christians would seek to deny health care to human beings."
Right on.
Building didn't take a single question from nobody. Sometimes the mouse does. That boycott went over like a lead balloon with Pastor Jim Henry over to the First Baptist Orlando. Shit, more than half his congregation owed their living to Disney, and he didn't want to see their tithes fall off if they got laid off. So he said, to hell with the devil. I ain't telling my followers to boycott Disney, not now, not ever. Seems old Pastor Henry worshiped the almighty dollar more than he did God, just like Trump and DeSantis, who seem to delight in being evil. Now, I like to think the opposite of that evil is the hope that comes with Christmas. And it don't matter whether you believe Christ is your personal Savior or not. It don't matter whether you celebrate John Kipper or Crocodile Ding Dong or Joseph Smith of Palooza, or if you went off and invented Kwanzaa. It don't matter not what you believe or if you believe nothing at all. There's just no escaping the magic of Christmas. It's just a special feeling in the air, what with all the singing and baking and holiday parties, and yet even my tacky decorations all contribute a little bit to that magical feeling. And Jesus, whether you believe in him or not, what he supposedly said is all anybody needs to know for how to make this road-hard and put-to-bed wet planet of ours a better place to live in. Jesus said do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Or maybe it was Mother Goose said that little golden Jesus or Mother Goose or Mr. Rogers, they got it right. That old Rollins College graduate, Fred Rogers, he looked into that television camera every day and asked, won't you be my neighbor? Now, people in charge of things could just get with the program and realize that every last dang one of us, regardless of where we come from, is the other person's neighbor. And neighbors, we're supposed to look out for one another. And that includes the letter T. That is why I'm donating 100% of the proceeds from my craft sale to the Transgender Peer Network. In the hope that it might help to ease just a little bit of the pain my trans friends are feeling. What with the president determined to get the entire country to hate and fear these decent people who just want to be left alone to live what they call their best life. Well, I hate to give you the bum's rush, Cobb. That's all the time I can spare. I gotta get back to my craft and or I'll never be ready for that holiday pop-up.
That's fine, Dolores. Believe me, you have given me so much more than I needed to write my own. Give my holiday best to all your neighbors. After all, it's always been my opinion that all of us are just renting time and space in God's big trailer park of the world. So we might as well support each other and spread as much comfort and joy while we're here. Merry Christmas, Dolores.
Merry Christmas to you too, Scott. And Merry Christmas to all of you, my neighbors. Please don't go. We got a wonderful song for you that's coming up shortly. Sit back down. This is Karen Ann.
Hey, Karen Ann! Woo!
Karen and I lived together at the Huntington on the Green back in the 70s when I first moved down here, ran away from home to work at Disney. And she has been at every show handling the craft sales and shit out front, refusing to take any money for it. She's doing it as a volunteer so that all the money can go to the trans organization.
Go Karen Ann! Woo!
And then, I want to thank Gidget Galore. Where's she?
I'm here.
Gidget! Charge my hair and makeup. Gidget, I got a bottle of Jack Daniels for you somewhere.
Oh! Damn, you better go get that shit.
The best manager any trailer park ever had.
Blue. Blue, you better go back. Go grab those. We'll wait.
Blue Estrella, come get me.
She's coming!
She is responsible for making Scott Maxwell sound like we was really having a conversation.
It was not just a one-woman show.
My wonderful director, Kenny Howard.
Love you.
This would make the 20th show
20!
that I have written that this man has directed. And my songwriting of
Oh,
over
wow.
40 years.
I'm busy.
The man who kept me sane.
It's not 40, it's like 10.
It's 40. The man who
It's
moved out of his
10,
home
Kenny.
and into my friend Michael Wansley's house when he had a car accident and nursed him back to health. And kept me
Oh, I
sane through
can't.
this process. Rick Sharon, ladies and gentlemen. All of the music that was playing while you waited for the show to begin, Rich was performing. Yeah. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get down to this. First, we're going to
Watch that for me. Thank you. Rob, thank you. Thank you. Takes a village.
Okay. All right. This is the people who bought raffle tickets.
Okay, yep.
I don't have my glasses.
Business.
10, 2, 2, 1, 6, 1, 1, 9.
119?
119, 6119.
Wait, was it 119? Sorry.
Supposed to be a 911. It's not.
Gotcha. Just double checking.
Could be me.
Could be you. Look at your tickets. Thank you. Yo, you're good, bro. You're good. Great.
All right, we're going to move on to another one.
Thank you, bro.
119. You see it clear as a bell?
Did you call me Clarabelle? What?
Clarabelle, is this it?
119.
6119.
119. That's you, bro. Bingo! Bingo! 119.
All right.
Check it. Check it.
Yeah, check it because
Who is it?
It's this lovely band here.
it is a lovely man. It does say 119.
That's good.
And if it's not right, just give it to him anyway.
So wait. So
We just have to.
Wait,
we have
listen.
the raffle every week for 5
Very
shows,
important.
and we give the winner some candy. Possibly Pete, Snowman Pete. No, you will be number 5.
Right.
And we have the other ones written down.
They are.
I'm going to let you choose a car.
Oh.
And
We don't have sound effects?
No.
Oh.
You're not back here, Rich.
it's the ace, so it's the very first person who won the very first year. Little Tony Dida. There goes.
She's not here.
So she won. Anyway, go away, loser.
She's not here, but she's deserving. And she's an ally like no other.
And now,
Oh, yeah. Right on. Right.
Pat Wessel, apparently you're the winning bid on the wreath.
Yeah! Woo!
$35 go, Pat. Take care.
Don't leave, Paige.
All right, thank you all.
Now sit tight for the music.
Wait, are you pulling down the screen? What's
Y'all
happening?
know what the kiss goodbye at Disney is? Yes. You know when Phantasmic or the fireworks at the Magic Kingdom or the laser thing at Epcot, there's always something that's a kiss goodbye. So you go off on a high, hopefully, after this debacle. And, so here's what happened. I had promised there was going to be a song in the show, and I thought I would sing it, which is be glad. Anyway, it was like down to the last week, and I thought, oh Jesus Christ, we never wrote the song. So literally, in a few days before the show, we wrote the song, Rich and I. He orchestrated it, got the music to Randy Solomon, whose wonderful voice you're going to hear singing, literally on the day we opened. And she got the music
I got it.
4 or 5 hours before we opened. And Rich worked till 2 o'clock that day and put together this video between 2 and 7:30. Right. But anyway, I cannot tell you how thrilled I am that you're all here, that the show sold out.
Yeah.
I had a show that it sold out. I've been through some shit. I'm not sure anybody was going to show up. So bless you all.